Greetings. This is our second week of classes. I hope everything's going well for your first week. Um, just a reminder, every Wednesday at 4 p.m., I will be on Zoom at the link in our announcements for a special class meeting. It's not required, as I stated, but if you have any questions, if you'd like to meet your fellow students or me, or talk about research, or maybe process some of your ideas, if you had any questions about the book, whatever you'd like, it's kind of an open meeting to help you with whatever you like. Nobody logged on this past Wednesday, which is fine. You didn't have any questions, but I will be there every Wednesday, 4 p.m., to help you with whatever you need help with. That's the first update. The second update is probably the most important. I want to help you with two things at the beginning of the semester. The first thing is figuring out an appropriate topic for your paper. The topic is just as important as the entire paper. We have to word it right. We have to kind of get you thinking in the right framework. So I do want to talk just a minute about that. So choosing a topic for a research paper. In undergrad, most students write about a topic in which they are interested. However, they look up references in the library and they write about what's already been done. So, for instance, if people want to work with individuals who need counseling, maybe on the autism spectrum. They write about things that have already been done in that area, and they kind of summarize it. What is different on the graduate level is that we're going to try to figure out some new models or modalities or theories that you're going to propose. Now, it could be totally original, that's fine, but it could also be a combination of applications that have been done before, but maybe they haven't been combined. So let me give you an example. So one of the examples would be using multiple theories that have not been used together to apply them to a population in need. So, for instance, maybe we want to begin with person-centered Rogerian therapy to build trust and to use reflection and empathy and unconditional positive regard and all of that good stuff to help identify deeper emotions and issues. And then maybe as therapy progressed, maybe you want to deal with irrational thoughts first, or maybe use CBT or REBT or DBT or something like that, maybe a combination of them. And then maybe you want to move into issue-specific theories. So for instance, maybe language therapy geared towards autism, maybe behavioral therapy, maybe something to do with socialization, okay, or a combination of those three areas. Maybe you want to use both individual therapy and groups, maybe each one once a week. Maybe you want to incorporate something new that hasn't been done much, maybe mindfulness or play therapy. So right there, that's 4 or 5 modalities to apply to one population. And you would want to create a model that combined those and talked about how to use them. So you could call it a comprehensive model to treat uh, individuals on the autism spectrum. Uh, so, you know, that's just an example. There's another example I provided from Kayla Benzio under content under week 1. And her model is on a handout. She named her model Calm, which is appropriate. She works with PTSD. So we've got a couple examples here, but the main difference between undergraduate and graduate research is I want you to think about a population that you want to work with. And we're going to create a new model, maybe a comprehensive model. You can add your own ideas, or you can combine quite a few ideas from past research. So as you write a possible title for your paper, it could be, it's not just, researching autism spectrum or PTSD or something like that. It's a comprehensive model to treat that, whatever issue you come up with. So since you're all going to be counselors, whether it be school counselors or clinical mental health counselors or art therapists, our goal is to help whatever population we'll be working with. So we want to phrase this title in a way that we're going to write about how to help a certain population. We're going to create a helping model for whatever population we're going to write about. So that's the difference. So what I'd like you to do is come up with 3 or 4, 2 or 3, 3 or 4, however many you want, not just one, possible working titles and populations. And what I'd like you to do is, it's going to take me a little while to create a Dropbox. I want to make sure it works, but I will create a Dropbox for this week. Please submit all your possible titles for your research to the Dropbox. All right. The second thing I'd like to talk about is it's up to you. You can work by yourself individually on this project, no problem, or you can work with a partner. In fact, I will let you work in groups up to 3. So you could have by yourself, one partner, or a group of 3. That's a lot of people, though. Usually 1 or 2 is good. The only reason I added the possibility of 3 is that we have an odd number of individuals in this class, so we might need a group of 3. But you may know some of your other classmates. You may not know them. But what I'd like you to do, and I'm not creating a Dropbox for this one, I want you to email me, put in the subject research, I guess, research partners, and just tell me your name, whether you want to work alone, with one partner, or with 2 partners, and if you have any partners in mind. If you don't have any partners in mind and you want a partner, I'll pair you up with somebody else who wants a partner and doesn't know anybody yet. That's fine. So, but you have to let me know. So please email me and let me know. So email me, research partners, your name. Do you want to work with a partner or alone? Do you want to work with one partner or 2 partners? Do you have anybody in mind? So that's what's going to appear in the email. Please email me this week so that I can let everybody know about partners. So this is important. Okay. The next thing, well, I'm going to stop here and record a second one.